So who would you say is or a few of your biggest inspirations would be for this project?
I would say there's a whole culmination of at least 2020 of artists that I guess what I was heavily inspired by. You know, I have a Kanye West cover on there, which goes without explaining. You know, the amount of inspiration he's had on Pablo, and I guess that influence comes full circle as I release a lot of the music that I do have planned. But outside of that, I have a Drake cover, Frank Ocean. His writing and his projects are ridiculous. Um, just as far as like like I said, it's all about freedom of expression, right? Artists like Joji, for example, which sounds like a left field artist that's not necessarily related to rap or R&B or singing or whatever genre you want to classify you know that music art in, but um, the way they express themselves and the freedom I feel like these particular artists have, and so many more that I haven't gotten to cover over on 2020, really inspired, Pablo to feel comfortable within himself and his own skin. Um, that's what I think 2020 is at the end of the day. 2020 is just me singing songs that I sang, in the studio, on my way to school, uh, in college, in the dorm room, just hoping to be what these artists consider themselves as, just true artists at the end of the day, which, I'm finally coming to realize and, understand and hold that with some responsibility.
So would you say like this album is like a collection of what you've used in your alone time
Yeah, for sure.
and
Um,
like literal sounds you've collected?
Yeah, no, and I think stripping the instrumentals down to pianos really give I guess, a tone for 2020. A lot of things happened uh, within the world, and as far as taking all the color out of the music and really focusing on the voice, the power behind, an instrument like the piano, it really emphasizes the message, the writing, and even how it's track listed. I feel like these experiences are all collections of moments that I've had within 2020. When I'm singing "Say You Won't," that's an actual message of or a story of what "Say You Won't" holds, or everything to me. Ending it off, at 2020, I realized that this was everything to me. Understanding that as an artist at the end of the day and coming to grips with that, it could be a huge hurdle to jump over, because once you take that responsibility as an artist, you gotta hold that, and that's one thing I came to grips in 2020. But yeah,
Pause. It's a nice red on your face, so I'm gonna just put up the PS4 screen.
word.
So it's like
Even that year, I mean, like 2020, I used to say that in high school. Like to my friends, like they used to tell me, like, yo, when you dropping music, 2020. It's like you manifest that for 2 years of like telling people like, yo, I'm working on myself till 2020, and then towards the end of the year, just saying like, yeah, I'm dropping a project 2020. It's the name of it. It's like it comes full circle. You just gotta trust it, manifest it, and put time into it. Yeah.
I just have one too. And then I got lost in your thought. Textures. What were you just talking about before that?
The colors, true colors. Not.
Oh, okay, angle. I think it
Angle.
was something about the angles.
Yeah.
And you were saying
Fly on the wall. Is that type?
right. So the fly on the wall angle is also part of the visual.
Yeah, the fly on the wall perspective. Because think about it, I'm 21 years old now. You know, my fall semester is over. Just to contextualize things, to years from now, we could understand where Pablo was. When I was creating this music, whether it was in my basement at my father's house in high school, or heading to UConn and being not trapped in the dorm room necessarily, but choosing to separate myself around all these people and still hone in on this craft, and through college classes and exams. And
was college itself an inspiration towards you doing this, or was it an obstacle?
College? College was definitely an experience. Whether it got in the way, it definitely did, but I feel like the perspective and experiences I got out of college will always be a part of who I am and how I view things now, the people I've met, the moments I've had with those particular people. Like if I never went to college, I probably would have never had a different perspective on even where I come from. I'm the first gen student, so a lot of the education that I was taught, or just the information I was given, because that's all it is at the end of the day, is information. I believe that anybody could figure it out if they're given the tools and taught well. Once I was given the information, it was just putting my thoughts together to understand how I wanted to use it. But college is crazy.
So the experience helps with the sound, but the task, college itself, time-wise, is just in the way.
Yeah, no, college for me, I personally don't like college. I want to develop these thoughts as far as college, because I feel like as far as education, you could teach yourself anything. The internet in the world 2020, information is not the problem. It's the people that govern, these certain systems of obtaining, I feel like there's geniuses outside of college that could solve so many problems, but they don't have a piece of paper to, certify them, or whatever the construct is, or whatever you want to give the word. But information is always key. Education, you could teach yourself anything. I taught myself how to produce, how to mix, how to master. I didn't go to school for this. I'm an economics major. But using that information as far as numbers, that's one thing that, the information I got from college really helped. But as far as the education, I hated exams. I hated, professors that wouldn't take their job seriously, and especially the stress. I feel like students go through so much to obtain a degree, and there's way more power than just a degree. Your mind is so much powerful. You could empower yourself to create, the next thing that saves, people's lives, saves the world, changes, your community. You don't need validation from anybody to become a real life influencer.
Word. Yeah. For the next question, I have a question. They got a full production going on. And now you get the other angle of
Like this, like right now, voiceover is happening, but
right.
And that's one thing too, as far as like the amount of stuff that you could catch, like just at the city alone, like that shit could fit over so perfectly with the thing. Like niggas is just ranting, and it's just seeing the buildings.
Right, and then you can just like put this shit in slow mo, and it's like, oh, he was talking.
Yeah.
He was doing something.
Well, this shit is just
right, because it looks like there's just a big computer in front of your face or something. What is it? What was? Let me ask you something about artists. I mean, we could start getting like a conclusion topic, because you gotta wrap it up in some form, so we start
like the future.
Right.
Like, what do you see in the future?
What do you see in the future for your future projects? I mean, what do you see as far as the sound and just the angle? What do you do for your next go at?
I think all my continuing projects besides 2020 are going to be fairly interesting, just because I have a lot of ideas and a lot of creative journeys I want to take on. I want to produce an album where it's strictly me, no samples, and understanding how to storytell through that aspect of a world fully created by me. I have another project in the works where it's literally like it's kind of like 2020 actually, with all the inspiring artists that have influenced me, but sampling some of their works and bringing it back to life, I guess, and giving my perspective on it. And then on top of that, I have no names for my projects because they're always changing and always morphing, but there's another project where I want to, it's all through samples, learning how to flip samples and bring that back. I feel like it's a lost art that not too many people are, holding as a card up their sleeve, and I want to bring that back to life, especially in hip hop. Like, 2020 is a lot of singing and melodizing, and I guess I don't shy away from that, because a lot of the artists I looked up to in this day and age, like they sing and they do all different types of forms of or genres of art when it comes to music. But as far as rapping and getting over these samples and bringing that back to life is something I want to venture on in the future, and bring that to my fans, my audience, wherever this lands years from now. As far as 2021, I feel there's a lot more releases to go, especially being physical. That's one thing that I want to bring back to the market. I think physical copies and, as an independent artist, not relying on major labels to, push, certain people's music because of funding behind them, because, there's nothing behind us but just, creators creating and going directly to market and advertising Pablo for what he is, rather than a system behind him, is something that 2021 and for forever I want to hold and bring back. I want to bring back genuine art. I want people to step up their game as far as producing, as far as creating, as far as believing the art that you have. Like, you should know what you're putting out to the market or what you're giving to your audience, and I just want to give them me. So that's something 2021 is going to be filled with for sure.
Do you say after listening to your first album, we leave with a pretty good understanding of who you are, that angle?
I would say that Pablo still needs to find himself, but those are definitely the building blocks. Like I said, when you listen to 2020, it's me at the age of 21 in my dorm room recording these tracks, and finding my voice, and looking at these artists, like I said, as inspiration, as a source of guidance in a way. But Pablo has so much more to bring to the table that's currently not the reality, but will be, and that's something I have to work for and earn. As an artist, I don't feel like your final results or your best pieces of work come directly to you. You need to work for them and you need to earn it. So, as far as this journey, you definitely received the beginning of Pablo, the self-discovery, but as far as enhancing it and bringing it to life, 100%, that's surely to come within these next couple of projects.
I think that's good. I think that's a good, like, solid, like, because now we're talking about the future.
Yeah.
That's dope angle too.
Or